So I also call this the progression cleanse. So today we're going to be doing the progression cleanse. This is what this technique is good for. Color correction. Anybody who has any type of color correction and their mid lengths and ends are too dark, you can totally use this technique on them as well. This could be the start of a really pretty blonding series. So if you were to do this first to get all the ends really nice and bright and maybe go through and do some foils through the top, you could do that as well. So this would be the first step to an all over blonding on someone who has really, really dark hair. So this was great.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, it is. It's like a really fast, you guys. This is super fast. Fast technique.
But we're going to be doing it very slow, just so you know. But when you're in the salon, you can do it quickly if you're not picking apart every last detail.
In the salon, when I'm working, it probably takes me 20-25 minutes to get this done. And then shampoo it out, take it to the chair. This could be a total end result as an ombre. What's her name? We were talking about
Haley.
Haley Bieber. Yeah, she's wearing something like this. Like this is something that is really on trend right now, where it's not quite an ombre, where it's even. It's almost like uneven. And you can see how seamless this is. Let me show you. Here you go. You can see how seamless this is. And what you're doing is a wet balayage, and the technique is super fun and it's super easy. And you can do it with a friend, you can do it with a faux, but you have to be at the shampoo bowl to do this. So this is what we have. This is what we have. We have a let me push this back. We have a mannequin that's already been wet. Now, team, this is really important. You have to leave the shampoo in the hair. So when I do this, you can see where there's shampoo in the hair.
So tip number one, at the bowl with shampoo.
Shampoo their hair twice.
That's odd that you leave shampoo in.
Yeah.
It's not normal that one would leave shampoo in hair while they're doing a color process.
Well, this is what's fun. They're in the shampoo bowl. You're going to shampoo them twice. Make sure you get everything out of the hair. If you want to take and get any metals out of the hair, this would be a good time to do a cleanse. So what we're going to do is leave the shampoo in, and we're going to add 2 pumps of conditioner to the hair right now. So what I'm using is our Bond. This is our Bond. It's a restructuring and protection. It's a strengthening product. So we're going to put maybe 4 pumps. Each pump is 1 gram. No, I'm going to do 5 because it works so good. So we're going to put 5 pumps of Bond into the hair. So at the shampoo bowl, this is a tip that you can do. You can put 1 pump of shampoo and then 5 pumps of the conditioner if you want. So I'm going to put this in, mostly I'm going to really focus on the mids and ends. So what this is going to do, a lot of you like co-wash types of shampoos where it's not so stripping. That's what you would exactly do. Put a pump of your shampoo and then put 5 pumps of conditioner or a couple of pumps of conditioner and you'll get a really nice co-wash. Okay, so I'm going to she's in the shampoo bowl, so she's laying back. I'm going to ask her to put your chin up. You need to work with me. So we are going to start. So now, this is why we leave shampoo and conditioner in the hair. It helps with the product moving up through the hair. So
like the distribution of the product.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. If we're doing a cleanse formula, we add, I'm going to section her in quarters, so I'm going to start from here to here. We would add shampoo to our formula, correct? Team, you know we would do 30 grams of powder lightener, 30 grams, you could do half and half of your shampoo, and then your developer. So this would be a cleanse formula. So instead of putting it in the formula when you're working, what you're going to do is leave the shampoo and conditioner in the hair and then apply your product on top of that. You'll get a prettier cleanse and it works faster. You can see how light her ends are and you can see how it progressively gets darker as it works at the head. Okay.
What tones did you use in this hair?
I didn't gloss her.
Really?
I did not.
That's straight up mannequin hair?
This is straight up mannequin hair. You guys, I'm telling you.
Come on.
Our silver, Color Space Silver Powder Lightener is bomb.
You didn't tone this with nothing?
I did not tone this, you guys.
You sure?
Cross my heart. I didn't have time. I had to jump on a Zoom. My life. All right, so right now, and I'll turn so you can see. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm subsectioning her hair into quarters. So in the shampoo bowl, what you would do, you want to work in quarters. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to be doing before I actually do it. So as her head is laying back, very important. I'm going to talk to you guys about hair cutting. If she lays back like so, her hair is at a 40. Her head is at a 45. Let's show you. So like so. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be applying the product here. I'll apply the product here evenly and equally on here and on here on all 4 quarters. As I work up, I'm going to let that set. You can have someone working on the other side as you're working. You can use your hands if you need some body heat to help with the lift of the product. I'm always going to keep reapplying because the cleaner, the fresher the product, the more lift you're going to get. You get the most lift in the first 20 minutes. As I'm working up halfway, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a subsection all the way around the head. I'll work this up a little bit, but then I'll start pulling this out at a 90 team.
And that's how you get it to move up the
head. And this is how we get such a soft transition of color. You can see
awesome,
that.
Lupe. This is
Can
such
you
a
see
great
that?
lesson.
Isn't that fun?
Mm-hmm.
And you can see when you pull it up, you can see how there's so much variation in the color. And this is what you want to achieve. You want it to be the most natural you would work at it. The more elevated it is, the more seamless it's going to be. You pull it out at a 90.
So elevation is your friend with this
Elevation is
application.
your friend. Either we're going to graduate it at a 45 or we're going to pull it out at a 90.
Just want to take a minute here, Lupe, real quick and say hello to everyone hanging out with us. Samantha, Gloria, Hope, welcome everybody.
Hi everyone.
Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us.
All right, let's get started. Are you guys ready? Here we go.
Let me get nice and close.
Pull this out. So it's very important this stays wet, you guys, because I'm counting on the shampoo in the hair. You can see it. And the conditioner, so that this product works up the head gently and evenly. The more slick it is, the better. And you can just see, watch, if I do this, you can see how much product is in there. That's what you want it to do, okay? So let me comb out the knots and let's get going. I have to tighten her up.
A little wobbly on
Oh,
you.
I love this technique. I was so excited to do this, you guys. All right, so this one I had prepped this morning, so you can see how fast it is. Okay, let's do this. So I mixed my silver powder lightener, and I've got 20 volume, team. I've got 20 volume. With this, because it's an open air balayage technique, you can totally use 30, and especially because you're using shampoo and conditioner, I prefer to let it process, take its time, and then work low and slow. So that's about how much I'm gonna do there.
That's about like 5 inches up the hair shaft, would you say? Maybe more?
About 4 or 5. So you always keep a towel next to you because you wanna make sure that you're wiping your hands as you go. So I'll take my comb it. See, you can see the angle that it's coming out. You guys, the angle is important. I can see right where I've applied from there, and I'm gonna apply here. Now, wherever you apply first is gonna sit on the longest. See that? Okay, and now I'm gonna make sure I'm rolling it back and forth.
This is your brightest piece, your brightest
This is gonna
point.
be the brightest because this is gonna be sitting on the longest. And as I pull up the product, it's gonna be a little bit darker, but I'm gonna apply here. This is gonna reapply down here, and it's gonna, because this is sitting in as I'm pulling up, letting it wait. We're gonna wait till we like the way it looks.
And that's how you control the level of lightness.
Yep, so here we go.
It's just by waiting.
Just by waiting, just by waiting. Okay, now we'll do the front here. The key to this team, because she's laying back, see how I'm following that? Here, I'm going to make sure I take it just a tad bit higher.
Keeping a fairly horizontal application, or are you feathering up at all? Or
Not yet.
just rolling
Not
just
yet.
straight back?
Just this one, the first application, we're just gonna keep it horizontal.
Gerard's pointing out how lovely your home looks, Lupe.
Well, thank
Always.
you. Thank you, Manuals.
The deck is awesome right here, guys.
Yeah, check that deck out.
So beautiful.
This is Manuel's hobby. Me and the deck. Me in the house. Okay, so we're going to roll this back and forth. Make sure it's saturated. And this is how you know you have enough on. Can you see how they're getting fatter? Like it's getting puffy and fat? That's because I'm rolling this back and forth. I'm making sure that it's super saturated. Look at that.
And you kept with the same 4 or 5 inches up the
Yep.
up the hair shaft.
Yep. So there. Let me wipe my hands. And if you notice, I have a towel right next to me at all times because I want to make sure that my hands stay clean. I'm using a fairly firm brush to help me pull it through. We've got this, this is our color space brush. If you guys haven't seen it, if this is your first time seeing us, this brush, darling, is amazing.
Look at the
that.
size of that.
Yeah. We had an industrial designer create these for us to fit your hands. Okay, here. So this brush is firm enough. You need something that's firm enough. Like that's not enough. That's not enough. You can see the difference of saturation. Saturation is key to this technique. Look at how fat this is. And as I go through, because hair, it'll start absorbing. But look at how fast the lift is, Kel. Look. You can see it already starting. So here we go. I just keep reapplying.
Let me get in there real quick.
Okay, let's show you. You can see how it's already shifting out. So let's put this
And
back
that was
on.
literally like not even a minute yet.
Not even, it was probably what, 4 or 5 minutes? This, I'm telling you, it takes, now that is not enough product. Can you see the lift on it? Yeah. Can you see it starting to shift? But that's not enough product.
You need to
want to
ensure
make sure, look,
your...
yeah, I keep rolling it back. Like every single piece of hair has to have its own product on it. Okay, so I'm gonna roll it back and forth.
You want it like what you would call swollen.
Swole. You want it swole. Is that a word?
Swollen?
Is
Yeah.
that like muscly?
It is today. It is right now, P.
It's weird. Okay, so here we go. Just roll it back and forth, roll it back and forth, make sure that there's enough product. Okay, we are using, again, silver powder lightener. This gives you 9 levels of lift. You can use this on the
This is
hair.
our finished look
This is my
hair.
open-ended application with it. This is when I use it the most, is if I'm doing the blonding. Again, you can use this technique for a color correction. You can make this the first step to an all-over blonding technique. Say a client comes in and she's a level 1 and you want to get it as light as you possibly can. You can do this technique on her end first and then go through and then start applying it, start doing some foil work on her.
So why again leaving quite a bit of shampoo and conditioner in the hair? What are you counting on? Why can't you just use conditioner or just have it be wet?
I find that I've tried it with conditioner by itself and it was okay, but the shampoo for some reason, and you can see how it kind of foam, like it's sudsy, it helps the product get through the hair, especially with it being wet. On fine hair, and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, on fine hair, it can rope. The product can rope where the inside is still dark. Where that shampoo, once you start moving it back and forth, it kind of gets foamy. So it helps incorporate that product. And as I pull it up, you're gonna see how it glides. And remember, you have to make sure the hair is wet. Her hair is really wet. It's drippy. I had to put a towel down because it's so drippy. And if it does...
Can you get in trouble, P?
Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. If it does end up drying out, all you have to do is just get a water bottle and spray it. Now remember...
Can it be too wet?
No.
Okay.
Well, that's not true.
Well, you don't want it to be sopping.
You don't want it to be sopping to where it starts to run the product off the hair.
Right up until that point is okay?
Yes, because this is the thing. Bleach, when it's wet, it's working. When it's dry, it's dead. So you want to keep it nice and moist. That's a horrible word, but what are you going to do? You have to keep it nice and moist in order for this product to keep working. So this is something that I do just to make sure that it's really nice and saturated. I'll move it back and forth. And I can see already, I'll take this piece off so you can see how light it's gotten already.
In just a few minutes that it's been on.
Just a few minutes, yep.
So I want to just take a minute and head to the comments.
Hi guys.
Welcome everybody, thanks for hanging out. Monique is wondering, can I do this on all textures, all hair?
All
Does this
textures,
all hair,
all
every
hair.
everything is welcome.
Everybody is welcome.
Every type is welcome to this product. This placement.
Party.
This product placement.
Yes, I would
Awesome.
definitely make sure that if you're doing a color correction and you're trying to get out some of those, say like Faria, the F word, or even like a henna, this is a really great technique because you can let it sit on for as long as you possibly want. You have shampoo and conditioner, so it's kind of like a barrier that helps glide through the hair.
Samantha is wondering if in the shampoo it's sulfate or not.
The shampoo should be a sulfate free. If you don't have a sulfate free shampoo, you're fine. Yeah, like it's fine. But for naturally curly hair, a sulfate free shampoo with the conditioner would be the best. I kind of don't mind it if it does have sulfates, or because it starts to lather a little bit.
At the end of the day, you just got to get the job done, and it will happen, sulfate or not.
Yeah, sulfate or not, it'll still work. Okay, so then I just sit here and I talk to them. So how are you doing? Great. How are the kids? Good. Good.
Going
through.
through.
Shoes.
You were just waiting out, just waiting.
And this is what you do. Keep doing this, and once you start to like where it's getting at, that's when we start to pull up. Because see, you want to make sure that these tips are the lightest.
Right. So we're just being patient.
Yep. So
just getting what your dollar's worth. Would you say?
Yes. You want them to be the lightest. Like for example, I could have let these sit on for about 10 minutes more, and then pulled it up and had even brighter tips. So whatever the effect is, that's going to be your timing.
All right, so we've got some new people that join. Is wondering, what are you working on? If you can recap for us.
So we're doing what we call at Color Space. We call this a progression cleanse. What other people would consider it a wet balayage, because the hair is wet. So this is what we do. Let's talk about what we've done so far. We started with her laying back in the shampoo bowl. We shampooed her hair twice, rinsed it out, shampooed, and then added 5 pumps of Bond conditioner. And what this is for is leaving the shampoo in and adding Bond is kind of like a really soft co-wash. So a co-wash is something that doesn't have a lot of sulfates in it, and that it's really great for, it's moisturizing and kind of glides. And I'm counting on that. So a cleanse formula would be your powder lightener, your developer, along with a shampoo. So instead of putting that all in a bowl, shampoo's on the hair, and we're using it not to dilute the product, but to actually help it glide. So because we didn't dilute the product, you're gonna get more lift. So shampoo, section out in quarters, and we pulled her head back. And if you think about it, right now she's at a 45. If I lifted her up, it would be like so. So it would be like so.
At an angle.
Yes, at an angle. And team, for those of you who just joined, I'll show you the effect that you get on this mannequin over here.
And what if the hair was very long? Would you still work in the basin, or would you?
You can put. I've done this so you can see.
Where you're pulling it over the edge, and you have to really wipe it down. Yes.
Yeah, we did a show at Van Michael's salon.
Just take over the whole
one of the
basin.
Was like down to here, and we were walking like halfway across the room just to get this done. It was actually a lot of fun. Or you can totally do this at your chair. Just have them slide back, with the back of the chair, like so.
Like how we sometimes dry curly hair girls.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Put a cushion on their neck and just have them lay back, and then start doing it. Get a partner, get someone to do this with you, and you can see how the transition is. We've got lighter, and as we pull up, it gets lighter. So I'll show you a couple more techniques. Okay.
So Monique was wondering, so like a very intense level 8, is that what you're going for before you start to move up the hair shaft?
Whatever you want to see. What if she wanted to be a 9, you would wait probably to an 8 and then start moving up. If she wanted to be an 8, you would probably wait till she got to a 7. So a level lighter than what you want. So I'm not going to sit here very much longer because I know I need to keep moving, but you can see where we're at right now. See how fast that moves. Can you see that, Kel?
Yep.
I like that. What do you think, Monique? Should we go on?
I think that's good.
All right. Okay, let's do this. So I'm going to pick up, reapply.
Catherine, yes, this is a type of balayage, or wet balayage today.
Yes.
Rihanna was wondering, is this going to create a line? And what do you need to think about just to prevent yourself from doing so?
So you want to make sure she's laid back.
The angle matters. Mm-hmm. The angle and the elevation.
If her head was straight and I painted a line in it, you're going to see a line. Because she's leaned back, now her hair is at a 45. And then when we get to the top, we're going to pull it out at a 90. These angles are very important as you're painting. That's why she's laid back. Okay,
again,
so
this is our finished look.
I'm pulling this up, team. I'm pulling this up.
Oh,
and
make it
I'm
on over
adding
there.
to what was already done. So this
get
is
on
the
top.
technique. Add up, roll it back and forth. You want to make sure it's saturated. See that?
This is about like looks like 3 inches or
It's
so.
about 2 inches. Well, about 1.5 inches more.
Okay. Hello from Fiji. What is the max time for this whole process?
However much time you need
To reach your
to
lift.
reach your lift. You can just walk away, go eat lunch. Not really. You don't leave her back there by yourself. Okay. So here we're gonna roll back, whatever. It's up to you, and it depends on what's on the hair is the timing. Now you can see how I pulled that up. And team, can you get in close, Kel? Can you see how seamless that is? That's not me working. That's the shampoo and the conditioner working. I'm gonna show you. Get really close when I do this one. Okay? So here we go. I'm gonna massage it and make sure, and you can see how fat that product, how saturated it is. Let me grab some of this. Okay, so I'm gonna paint, put my hand underneath. I'm rolling it back and forth. Rolling this back and forth. It's super important that your brush is firm enough to get each individual little hair, and you can see how I'm moving it. Roll it back and forth, back and forth.
About 1.5 inches higher than where you just were.
Yes, yes. And I think it was Monique who asked, am I gonna get a line? You're not gonna get a
sorry,
line.
Carmen.
If you can see the angle that this is at, you will not get a line. It's because of the angle that you're pulling the hair. The more you get it to a 90, the more lines are disrupted. Think about hair
And you're
cutting.
counting on your shampoo and conditioner to swell a little bit.
Yes.
To also diffuse any potential
Can
line.
you see it happening? Can you see how this is diffused? Look. I don't have to really go through. You could totally go through and paint them. That I'm going to do that in a few, but you can see how it diffuses the line. Look. That's why the shampoo and conditioner are so important. Okay, so roll it back and forth. And then what you're going to do, every single time you roll it up, you need to add to your mid-lengths and ends. You have to add fresh product to your mid-lengths and ends.
Monique, so the shampoo and the conditioner basically is expanding the lightener. It's helping.
It's helping. It's helping. It helps with that seamless
Yes,
finish.
Monique. She's gonna try it today. So DM Lupe with your final
I wanna see
results.
pictures. It's such a fun technique. The only thing you gotta do is just make sure they're being lifted at the same point.
Oh, that's a great point.
Do you see that? You have to make sure that they're at the same point.
That's a great tip.
Okay, let's do the front. Now this one, I'm gonna actually pull higher, and I think I'm gonna go at
At
an
a
angle.
steeper angle.
Yeah, think about what the effect is that you wanna see your lightest pieces do. So here, I think I'm gonna have it here to here. Okay, roll it back and forth. Again, make sure that you're saturated and that you're putting enough product. You get the most lift in the first 20 minutes of your powder lighteners. So you might want to think about mixing often a little bit and then
And keep going.
keep going. Yeah. So here, see how I'm pulling it down, Kel? Instead of up. I don't want it to travel up too much. I'm focusing only on this from here down, not here up. Not yet. You're going to have time to focus on that in a minute. What you need to focus on is getting this done. See that? That's not saturated.
You're looking at for really swollen, really
swollen.
fat.
The opacity has to be the same color. You can see from the ends all the way to where that's going to lift evenly. If it's not an even color, as far as white, gray, silver, whatever it is, mine's silver, it won't lift evenly.
Monique wants to talk about toners. She's saying you can use whatever. What have you played around with this technique and specific toners that you liked?
Yes,
Or
you could totally do this with glossing. What I would do is go backwards.
In terms-
go backwards instead of from the tips up. I would go from up to the tips, and you can
you would first apply your toner at the mid shaft, and then apply the toner towards the
towards
ends.
the ends. Yep. Okay.
So basically, work in reverse at how you're going. Even let the toner sit at the mid shaft for several minutes.
Well, it depends on what you're using. For example, with Color Space, our glosses are whatever level is honest glossing. Whatever level you lift to, that's the level you put on. So if you get to an 8 here, you can totally paint an 8, a 9, and then a 10.
If you really want to go there with your toners, that's next level.
Yeah, that's next
That's
level.
craft hair color for sure.
So, yeah, that is craft hair color. That's like getting crazy. Okay.
What
So
volume?
now I'm gonna do the other side. So I have to make sure that I look to see where I'm at so that I'm even. So here to here, here to here. I see my pattern.
And you're just looking for points on the face for reference.
Yep, right there at the jaw. If you guys
When hair
want to
attacks
practice this technique, I think Erica, this is Erica, I think her hair is the funnest to do.
And if you even really want to, you could be asymmetrical if you really wanted to get crazy. If you had like maybe a younger client or...
And for sure, make sure you're parted her hair where she wears it when you're doing
Oh,
this.
smart. That's another great tip.
Yes, you have to make sure. So
That's a
again,
great tip.
I'm gonna
Monica,
add-
Monique, I hope you got that.
Monique, make sure her part is right.
Just ask her how she parts it and then start with this.
Again, so I'm
Okay, let me
pulling down.
see.
This is the technique, team. When you're applying the next level up, you want to pull the product down. You don't want to pull it up. We're not about blending yet. Right now, we're about lightening. I want you guys to make sure that you guys remember that. This is all about lightening right now.
So, what volume were you working? I thought I saw some comments. 20.
Yes, and everything's on the shelf right here. We have Lift Silver Powder Lightener. Silver Powder Lightener is a foil and on the scalp powder lightener that lifts up to 9 levels of lift, and it's silver. It's so cool. And then we're using 20 volume. And in her hair, we have a shampoo, a pump of shampoo, and about 5 pumps of Bond. And what that does, you can see how it foams up. You can see how it helps distribute the product through. Look at that. Not only that, but you can see how it glides. And team, this is how it it helps prevent those lines.
So you really want to make sure your lightener is well mixed. There's no lumps, no clumps, none of that silly
lumps.
business.
You can't have lumps in it. Talking about mixing, we're ready for a new batch. Come on over. I am going to move this.
So again, we're here with Color Space Hair, doing an awesome wet balayage application with Lupe Voss. What are we up to now?
We're gonna mix some more product because I am out. So I've got 20 volume, you guys. This is the Unimix. If you haven't seen this amazing thing, this is what I mix my product with, especially for this technique. So I've got developer inside, and there's a magnet inside there that's spinning around and mixing. So I will grab my powder lightener. So just like cooking, instead of putting everything together and mix it, what you want to do, if you really want to make sure, Kelly had mentioned you can't have lumps. You can't have lumps. This is the thing. The active ingredient is in the powder, not the developer. The developer activates the powder. So you have sodium metasilicate, potassium persulfates in here. You want to make sure those are activated in order for you to get the lift. If they're not, you're not going to get the intended lift that you need. So I'll take whatever I'm going to mix. I mix it in thirds.
So Lupe, Monique wants to be a part of your team. I say,
Come on, Monique.
slide into her DMs. We're always looking to grow our team. 100%, Monique. Just Lupe, what is your Instagram handle?
Instagram handle is Lupe Voss. Straight up. Just, well, not straight up, but Lupe Voss.
I'll add it right here and send her a DM, Monique.
All right, so here is me mixing. I'm adding the product, and I can hear when it gets smooth because it doesn't have that gritty sound from the magnet spinning. I got a little buddy here with me today. Hi, little guy. Okay, so I'm mixing, and you can see, Cal, come on in. You can see the magnets in the center, and I'll just put my brush there to get the powder off of that. And I push down anything that's on the side. And look at how amazing that is. You guys, you want to make sure that your powder lighteners are completely mixed. This is your active ingredient, you guys, your sodium metasilicate and potassium.
And you can see how it's a little chunky.
Yeah, you can see how it's chunky. And this is gonna, you can even drop your brush in there. Give it a little coaxing. So this Unimix will mix this. And of course, I do not hit the temperature button. See that? Now, can you see those lumps that are in there, Kel? Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna stop.
Let's go one more time.
Yep. This is a temperature button, peeps. This one is for when we mix Color Space hair color. And what it does is it brings our color to body temp. And it helps prevent any thermal shock that happens on the scalp. It's so cool. And what's really funny is like when I put it on someone, I was like, oh, they're gonna love it because
so
it's
creamy.
Warm. Yeah, it's so warm. I was like, can you feel that? And they're like, no. And then I was like, oh yeah.
You don't even feel it.
No,
yeah.
because it's
you only feel it when it's cold.
When it's cold. And then they're like, hey, did you get that out of the fridge? Yeah.
Amy was wondering. Oh, Amy would like to talk about peroxide volume. Is 20 the best? Could you work with 10? What are your thoughts?
So your developer is your working time. The reason why, and it depends really on it depends on how much lift you're wanting, how much working time you want. So the powder lightener is your car, your developer is your gas. I normally don't go over 30 unless I'm doing a freehand. Okay, come check this out, Cal. I normally don't do, you can see where it goes shiny. Can you see how that's shiny? That's how I know it's done.
Don't really see any more lumps in there.
No lumps in there. See how it's shiny, team? That's what you want to get your lighteners to.
And you didn't have to put your, no elbow.
No bingo arm,
No,
no.
you let the brush,
Let it go.
let the machine do the work for you.
Yeah, and what can you do in 2 minutes? You can answer the phone. You can get some post on social. You can watch a live. Okay, let's look and see where we're at. I'm gonna check it. Team, look at that.
So this is just a step darker than the last one.
And this one's lighter. Look, because that's been sitting on longer. So as it's a progression of a color, I really want you guys to see. So I'm gonna wipe one. How about that? You can see it. How that's lighter, and then that is getting lighter, and then that's the darker piece. So
Awesome.
Isn't that cool? All right, so let me add back to what I took off. And can you see how the hair, you can see how the hair starts to come through. Once you start seeing hair come through, you want to make sure you reapply. Yes. Yes.
So you do have to babysit this somewhat.
Yes, I do babysit this. Okay. Let's do this. Here we go. Oh, little Rex.
Little action.
Little action
in the
there.
dog.
Puppy action. Okay. I'm at the point right now where I'm going to team split this in half all the way around. So I'm going to have bottom and top because I want to start adding. Here we go. So I want to start adding.
Now, tell us more about this section. Is it split directly in half?
In half.
Are you thinking about the crown?
So see
Are you
where
thinking about
the lower crown right here? So we've got this now is going to be the lower and this is going to be the higher. This is the one that we're going to start pulling out at a 90. We want to make sure that we get any lines or any shadows out of
Let me just get in here real quick.
Sure. So I'm going to split this in half, team. I never pull my comb through what I just did. I'll split it with my fingers if I need to. So this is the bottom now, and this is the top. So now, instead of 4, I'm going to end up with 8 sections. Okay, let's turn her. And then let's do the same.
Let me just take a look.
Okay. So from here to the recession. Okay. So that now becomes the bottom. And this is the top.
Just take a look up here.
Okay. I keep getting powder lightener on her face.
She's just psyched to get this awesome color done. She's good.
All right. So then let me do the same on the other side. And then now we're going to start pulling it up higher. And then we're going to do a couple of fun things I want to show you. We're going to address the hairline, the front hairline. On my girl here, my pre-done, my Haley Bieber girl, I did add some towards the end so it brightened it up. Because you can see how dark the starting level is. You can see how dark her
Can you tell us again what can you recap what you just meant?
Yes. I'll show you.
Okay.
Instead of talking about it. Let's do it. All right, so that was my last one that I did. So let's go here. So this is the first one that I started with. I'm going to add more, team. Again, I'm pulling down, pulling down, pulling down, like so, pulling down. And then I'm going to pull her hair towards me, and I'm going to address her hairline.
This is the bottom.
This is the bottom
section.
Bottom left.
So Monique is wondering, so you're going to start painting above the occipital bone?
This is not yet. Yes, that section. See this section
in the top
here?
section, you will.
This is top.
Through elevation.
Yes. What I'm doing here
On the bottom.
On the bottom is I'm pulling.
Kind of just feathering it a little bit.
Feathering it down. Watch. I'm going to apply. Feather it down. Now where I want to blend up to the hairline.
This is also ensuring you don't get any crazy line.
Yes, this is going to help without any lines. Now I want to brighten around her hairline. So I'm going to take the hair painting brush. This is our Color Space hair painting brush. I'll pick up some of this and I'll just real lightly pull it down. When it's wet, it's easier to do this when it's down. Look at how clean and seamless it is. And then I'll just take, like I'm highlighting, and pick up pieces, like so. Okay, so Haley, when you do this, make sure that this is getting resaturated again. Look, you want to make sure all this stays saturated. Okay, so now let's do this other side. So this is the top part. I'm going to move it over so it's out of the way. I don't know how I can show you this without. Okay, so here we go. Her hair, I'm pulling it out, and you can see how light it is. Look at the difference. You can even stop here. Like if you like a really dark to a really light, look at that. You can even stop here. If you want it more blended, keep going what I'm doing. So I'm going to add more.
It just depends on how you want the end result to be.
Yeah, the effect. Okay, so now I'm going to over direct this back and address this.
Just want to take a second and say hello to everyone hanging out and learning with us. I want to say hello to Morgan. She's here hanging out from
Hi,
Canada.
Morgan.
Yvette is saying hello from Chicago.
Hi, Yvette.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in and sharing hair with us.
All right, so here we go. Just picking up.
Same thing. You're basically doing just the same thing and taking
brightening
it right,
up her hairline in the back. So when she wears her hair,
and still with 20 volume.
Yeah, it doesn't get too dark. And this is a brand new batch. Okay, so I need to make sure I address these mid-lengths and ends. And I'll pull it up slightly. When I pull it up means I paint it down. I'm painting it down. And I'm actually using the corner of the brush. Okay, make sure that this is nice and saturated. In the shampoo bowl, it's not as bad because you have a place to wipe your hands and wash them, so it's not as bad. Okay, so here we go. Let's do this again. Here we go. Here, here, here.
Sorry, Pete, got a little distracted there for a moment.
Okay. Okay, so now we have that bottom one done. Now let's do this bottom one in the front. Let me move this front piece out of the way. Make sure that we've got that. Let me move that out of the way, and here we go. So now this is the front, the bottom front.
So you're addressing the whole bottom half before you move up to the
yes,
your upper sections.
yes. So here I'm gonna pick up, and I'm painting up, painting up, painting up. Here we go. Painting up. Okay, make sure those are saturated. Now I'll pull this away, and I'm exposing the front.
Moving it is key, right?
Yes, moving it back because there's tension. So then now I'm going to add some of the lightener to this. I'll pull this up. And you don't have to do this piece if you don't want.
Right, again,
really
it's just part of your
painting.
consultation.
It's just part of your consultation. Do you want it bright or do you not? Okay, so then here. So I'm pulling down, team. I'm not pulling up. I don't know if you guys
What's the
noticed.
difference?
The difference is when you pull up, watch. When you pull up, you're adding product, watch. You can see how it gets kind of heavy and you can get lines in the hair. It's not wrong, and you can take a brush and pull it down, watch.
Let me just...
Pulling it down softens it. Can you see how it softens? It works the best with this technique is pulling it down, not up. It's very different. Okay, I'm pulling down. You see how it gets more seamless?
Yvette was wondering about your color and lightener.
So
can you tell us?
This is our silver powder lightener from Color Space. This will give you 9 levels of lift, and it has a cool tone to it. It's a silver base.
You also have a green
We
base.
have a green gum base for our freehand, which is amazing. It's green. It's actually green. It's kind of, everyone's like, oh, that looks kind of scary, but it's a really cool product. So this one, and if you want to take a peek at the pre-done, that's why she looks like she has a gloss, because it's actually contributing to the end result. All right, so here we go. So this one gives you 9 levels of lift. All right, so let's pick up here.
So, I mean, this is definitely a quick process. Of course, we're taking our time and explaining and going into detail.
Yes.
But it is pretty labor intensive. I would charge a hefty amount for this.
Oh, are they asking for charging?
I'm just interested in your thoughts on it.
Pricing.
Well, because you have to stay with it,
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to babysit it a little. You know,
You're
it's
not
not just
leaving.
apply and buy.
Yeah, it's not apply the dye goodbye. It is seriously, you're sitting with it, and this team is a technique. This is a
It's
fast way
easy
of doing
in
foil.
terms, right?
Yes.
But it's still labor intensive.
Yes. What it is, it's a free hand fit feel. Okay, so lift it up. Let's get some brightness inside here. And you see I'm pulling down, you guys. I'm not pulling up. If you pull up, you might end up with a spot.
I feel like when you pull down, you know exactly where the product is.
Yes.
And when you pull up, you're getting that ultra feathered kind of look.
It delivers too much on the wet hair. So pull down. See how I'm pulling down? Pull down, pull down. Okay? And then how much shadow you want is going to be up to you, and that means how high you want to go on this. Depends up to you. Okay? Okay, let's add more. Product, you want to make sure that your mids and ends stay really light. So we're done with the bottom. We're done with that. So we're just going to let that process. Now we're going to address that top piece.
Awesome.
Okay, make sure these are saturated, okay? Now, let's keep going up. Let me wipe my hands because this is getting messy. So as you can see in the shampoo bowl, it's not as messy because you can have the water. All right, now we've got these ends. And look at how nice. I'm going to show you this now. We're going to show you what this looks like.
As you
see that?
Awesome.
Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to make sure I get some product. And then as I'm doing this, team, I'm pulling this out at a 90. Can you see how I'm doing this? I'm pulling this out at a 90. Let me move this a little bit. I need space. And I'm actually pulling it back as I'm doing this. Here we go.
What do you mean pulling it back?
I'm pulling it back this way because I want to have some tension. What I'm going to be doing is addressing all of this right here. I want to add some highlight in through here. So I want to brighten that up. Okay, so I'm going to pull. I'm pulling as I'm working it in. Here we go. Pick up your brush. Again, pull down. However much shadow you want, or even watch what I'm doing here, Cal. If you want to bring pieces up for dimension, just pull some down. Pull some down. You can use this brush if you want, the bigger hair painting brush, which ours is really nice. It's firm enough to where it gives it a really smooth blend. Look at how nice that is. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to pull it back now, and I want to have some part of that front bright. So I'm going to pick up product, and tension, pull down, pick up product.
Stephanie, awesome. Thanks for hanging with us. Yvette was wondering, does the silver tone just camouflage or does it really tone? And if it does, what, why, how, where does it work? Talking about the silver tone?
There's a special dye molecule that's in there. It helps to contribute, but it will not completely cover it. So it does give you control, but it's not like a gloss or toning. So you want to make sure if you want to tone, then you have to do...
You can count on it, but not really.
Mm-hmm. You can count on it for your lighter levels, like if you get it to a 9 or a 10, for sure. So team, see how I'm doing this? I'm picking up and I'm pulling. I'm using a lot of tension as I pull back. Okay, now I'm going to readdress her mids and ends because look at how I took a lot off. Look at how light she's gotten already. Okay, pull. Okay, pull down. If you want to brighten up more pieces in through here, if you want this really light, you're going to make sure it gets what? You'll put more product on. The thicker it is,
the brighter
it'll be. Okay, pull. Okay, add. Isn't this fun? Can you see how pretty and
I'm having a blast.
Yeah, this is my favorite technique to do. That's why I was like, I know we had an issue and we had to cancel this one, and I was so bummed because this is the one that everyone keeps asking me for.
Now, did you go through all the way? How much did you reciprocate on the bottom end of this?
So see how it's not all the way through?
Not really, just at the hairline.
And look at how that shampoo, it just keeps it really nice and seamless.
Yep.
Okay, so then we're gonna drop that down. And this is the time, team. If you want to bring these up higher, then you can. If you don't and you want to leave them shadow, this is you visually seeing it. Okay, drop it down. So let's do the other side. We are almost done, guys. Let's do the back. Here we
Again,
go.
just want to reference the
pre-done. Here, I'm doing the same. Pulling it out at a 90. Pulling it out. If you want, you can comb. Make sure that this hair is really nice and smooth. How's everyone doing?
Everyone is doing awesome. Yvette is super interested in color space. So
oh, it's so nice. So Yvette, let's finish talking about. I'm sorry, Yvette. I started talking about the technique. So this can be used in foils. this is not our hair painting balayage powder lightener. That one is a green gum base that gives you 7 actual levels of lift, not half levels, but actual levels. So that one is a green gum base, and it works as a clay. So instead of, everyone's done like masks. So you've had a mask where what that does is it leaches out impurities. That's what happens to hair. It'll leach out moisture. So what we wanted to do was make sure that there was moisture left into the hair. That's why we went with the gum, the xanthan gum and guarum gum. So that one gives you 7 levels of lift. This was my product choice because I wanted to make sure I got a faster lift. So that's why we use the silver powder lightener, which gives you 9 actual levels of lift. And the Unimix makes the consistency just so
perfect.
Nice. Oh, it's so nice. You can see it's like putting lotion on here. Okay, and that could be because of our developer has shea butter. Okay, here, glide it. And team, the darker these are, as far as the color, the lighter it will be. The lighter they are, like these won't lift for very long. The thing is, it's like, if it's wet, it's working. If it's dry, it's dead. So where you see it more opaque, that's where you're gonna get the most lift. So if you want it more lift, you're gonna make sure that these look more like that. Okay? But I don't want to. So I'm gonna erase some of those. Erase. Add to the ends before I drop it. That side's done.
EJ is singing your praises, P. You're amazing.
Who's that?
EJ Bear. As a colorist, they totally changed the way you formulate, taking skills to the next level. Awesome, EJ. What a pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you.
For letting
so
it be
much
known.
Fun. Hair color is so much fun. Like this, doing stuff like this freehand that's super creative is probably my favorite thing to do. Okay, so now I'm gonna add up. And then come watch this, Cal. This is how I make sure it's gonna be the same. I keep looking over as I'm painting on these. I'm looking over. And then here, wherever I'm at, I'll just add some pieces in through here. These are bonus. And then I'll pull it on the opposite side and do the same. And then if you wanna make sure, you have to make sure that these mids and ends are nice and saturated. And you always wanna, if you notice, I keep adding to these. Keep adding. And look at how light they are, team. Can you see that?
Awesome.
Yeah. So the tips are the lightest, and as you move up, it starts to get dark.
Oh, celebration time.
What happened?
Stephanie's here, and she just joined Color Space today.
Welcome, Steph. Yay!
Celebrate.
Celebrate. Woo-hoo. Thank you.
All right. So, what are your final thoughts here, P? So at this point, how much longer do you? I guess it's just until you see your final result.
Until you see your final result.
Or you get to the tone that you want to gloss.
Yeah. I would let her lay there. So let's recap. So start in quarters, team. You want to start in quarters. You need to make sure that she's really nice and sectioned out properly. So, and as you're working side to side, keep checking. Make sure her part is where it should be. You want to make sure that she has her part lined up, because if you put too much highlight on one side, you're not going to have enough on the other. I shampooed twice, re-shampoo, and then I added 5 pumps of Bond. And the reason why, it's a deep, deep conditioner, and it actually helps with the structure of the hair. It's not a polymer, it's not a plastic structure, it's a plant-based structure. All right, so here I'm blending up. Always blend up, always move your product up. This is a progression cleanse. So what that means is that it's gonna go from light to dark, going the opposite way. When you're applying and you wanna do blending, pull it away from where you're working and then add your color.
Oops, sorry, P.
That's all right. For your highlight, there you go. And you know that this is gonna be the brightest right in through here. The opacity of your powder lightener is gonna tell you how much lift you're gonna get. If it's wet, it's working. If it's dry, it's dead.
What are some aha moments you've learned while perfecting this technique?
I found.
Or do you feel like we've kind of gone over them?
Like really going back to my hair cutting foundation pieces. If you pull it out at a 90, you will not get any lines in the hair. If your hair is saturated properly with shampoo and your conditioner, it will glide through the hair evenly. And you can see how nice and even it is as you work. Your tools are super important. If you have a brush that's nice and firm, that's the one that you want, because you want to keep rolling back and forth. You want to keep rolling back and forth. And one thing another tip is, if you think you put enough, put a little bit more. Put a little bit more. Okay, team, she's gonna lay back and she's gonna process, and I'll put a picture up later.
Well, if you did, it would look like this, basically.
It would look just like that. I may let this one process just
A little bit longer and make it even more punchy.
Yeah, I think I will. I think I will.
One more question, P from Yvette coming in. Do you have to up your activator choice when you use your bonder with your lightener? Great question, Yvette.
With this technique, you can use, if the hair is really in great condition, you can use more than 20 because it's an open air technique. I don't hate that, but if it's in a foil, I don't really use anything higher than 20. But because it's an open air technique and you might need a little bit more power, you can totally do 30 and 40. Fine hair, you don't need that much power. You could probably do that with 10 or 20.
And that includes some texture hair as well.
Yeah, textured hair, I always go low and slow on textured hair. Always. You don't want to break the hair. People think that you have to go high in developers because it's highly textured. You don't.
Maybe with like very like Asian hair, would you? Or
yeah, or even someone who has like a really coarse hair shaft, I would go higher. And it really depends on how much conditioner and shampoo you put on as well, because that product has to work through that. But look at how it foams, and it actually helps the product get through the hair easier. You can see that.
It just plumps it up. The
Yeah,
shampoo just plumps it up
It's really
ever
nice
so.
and fat.
Awesome, Gloria. Thanks everyone for tuning in and hanging